And you ask, how can a guy whose fastball slider with a home run rate, how could it go through the roof? Well, look, in 2009, you look at Brad Lidge. He gave up a career-high 11 home runs, and he blew 11 saves. Then it's just one season after, he was an all-star. 41 for 41 in saves, 195. Okay? So, I'm saying before that, okay, he was an all-star, 41 for 41. And then he blew 11 saves, gave up 11 home runs. So Diaz, Major League Baseball repeats itself. Brad Lidge was an all-star, 41 for 41, 195 ERA, and then he gave up 11 home runs and 11 saves, and was awful the next year. So Diaz's saves are his stats are similar. Gave up 15 homers, blew 7 saves in 2019, just 1 year after being an all-star, leading all of baseball with 57 saves and a 196 ERA. So, if he gets off to a good... See, here's the key. If he gets off to a good start, forget about it. But don't forget about Arnie coming up next. Don't forget about Phil at 7 o'clock and back with Arnie at 9. Big-time stuff here. Big-time stuff. So, who would you rather have? Diaz or Chapman this year? All right? Who would you rather have? I don't know. I'll tell you what, it's all very interesting. But I would take the position that if you believe that baseball repeats itself, then see what you could do about Edwin Diaz. And I got to tell you, the Mets could be in very good shape. All right, let's talk about the offense, and then we'll let's continue on with the Mets. I want to thank everybody for being in the chat room. The chat room is absolutely loaded. Chat room is loaded, and so am I, and you can tell. And Andy and I, starting on February 9th, spoke to the program director at Sirius Radio this morning. Calls me up. He says, I got in early just to speak to you. Bull Dinky and Poppy. Just to speak to me. All right, so give me more time. More Ray K. Give me more playing time, man. We want more playing time. Maybe we'll get it this year. We'll see. Okay, so what were we doing? Talking about the Mets. And, of course, let's start at the catcher spot. Wilson Ramos. Man, when Noah Syndergaard says, I don't want any part of this guy, it's got to hurt his feelings, right? Wilson Ramos. I'm projecting Wilson Ramos to hit about 280. 15 to 18 home runs. That's not terrible. Okay? That's not terrible, right? I don't know. I don't think they have anybody to back him up. But look, in real terms, very bad pitch framer. He struggled to control the run game as he yielded 21 more steals than any other catcher. His power was questionable. His average launch angle was 0 degrees, lowest among all hitters with at least 100 batted balls. So, he's a power hitter, defensive shortcomings, his ground ball rate is going up. I am not going to overspend for Wilson Ramos offensively. I think that he could improve defensively. They don't have anybody behind him. They got Thomas Nido. The Mets Nido, another catcher. First base, Pete Alonso, you can't even. Now, I was wrong last year about Alonso. I said that Pete Alonso could only hit the fastball, couldn't hit the off-speed, but he adjusted. He hit 53 home runs, you think he adjusted. So this year, look, he hits 40 home runs. Is that a bad year? All right? The juiced ball. This is one guy that you really got to watch, okay? Because we got two things. First of all, you think the Mets are cheating? You think he knew what pitch was coming? I'm going to say this about a lot of batters. There's a couple of unknowns. I don't think they hired Carlos Beltran because they didn't want... Oh, man. The Mets hired Beltran because they were not doing well in cheating. They knew everybody was cheating, so they wanted to get the best cheater. You don't think that's... Wait till that comes out. Wait till that comes out. How many of you remember that as soon as Beltran was hired, 2 weeks later the Astros scandal came out? I said right away, does anybody remember me saying, I want to know the truth. Anybody remember me saying Beltran was gone? In November. So, look, 12 extra base hits, 17 RBIs in his first 12 games, and he never stopped. He's going to regress. I don't know if it's going to be because of the ball, because he was getting the signals. I don't know. But still, his regression is still going to be 30 to 35 home runs. Okay? Now, I will say this again. With Dominic Smith, and I don't know where he's going to play. He's not playing the outfield. The Mets will give Dominic Smith away if Robinson Cano is part of the deal. They'll give him away. Okay? Dominic Smith will hit 250, 15 home runs, nothing. You get that last pick of the draft. And he's the defensive liability. He's kind of reminded me of a lot of like James Loney. Is that possible? James Loney. So you can't project him to be any better. I know he had sleep apnea and this and that, but when I saw him, he was lethargic. He was overweight. I am not recommending that you take him. Robinson Cano, holy mackerel. You almost have to believe that it just can't be this bad. I mean, how easy was it to predict? 37, this was such a bad deal. He's going to bat 275. He's going to hit you 15 home runs, and bingo. And what are you paying him? Who knows what? I can't even. Holy mackerel. 37. His worst offensive performance in 10 years. 2 stints on the injured list. His average exit velocity and hard hit rate were both in the top 80th percentile. Holy mackerel. So what happened? Injuries. Okay? He's very good at hitting hard hit balls. But I don't know. The offensive juice is still there for him to have another 25-plus homer season if he could stay on the field. Last year he didn't. He only had just over 400 plate appearances. So you can't give up. Cano wasn't even drafted in our league. I think he was at the end. Robinson Cano getting no respect. And keep in mind, at second base, morning to Malpal. Arnie coming up next. And then again tonight. I believe you're coming up next, right? There you go. Yes, I did say. Anybody else remember me saying that, come on, I need a little, right? I need a little bazoob. I said Beltran was gone. Does anybody remember it? I have told you all about I was wrong on Alonso. I was wrong on this guy and that guy. Up, back to the busy phones. Let's see who's calling, okay? And it's Chrisney. All right. Hello, can I help you? Yes. You've been my car's extended warranty. Holy mackerel. No, I want to talk to you. Press 1. All right. I got a brand new car. Let's see if my warranty's up. Hello. Oh, shut up. All right. I'm sorry. I thought that would be quicker. I was going to tell them I had an Edsel. Anyway, when they call me about my credit card, they ask me if I have a Visa. I always say no, I'm an American citizen. Anyway, there you go. Guest Jan, good morning. Guest Jan, Diaz will close, and Diaz is going to be a closer. What? We talking about Andy Devine on Holy Toledo? All right. Adrian Hauser. Okay. Dookie's sister. Good. Okay, Dookie. Would you rather have Dookie or Adrian? Um, Moving right along with the Mets as we're making some great progress here. By the way, the Mets, the winning the World Series, the Mets are 16-1. That's enough. That's enough for a Met fan to say, okay, I'm in. Over under 86.5 on the New York Mets. Wow. Wow. I'll take that bet too. I'm a Met fan this year. You know, as a long-standing Met fan, you always have to be pessimistic. But here's what happens with the Mets. When you are really pessimistic, that's when you should be optimistic. Isn't that right, all you Met fans? It's crazy. I hope you guys over at that website like me. Okay? We're going to be talking a lot about the Mets this year. I got that feeling. All right, let's move it right along. Ahmad Rosario star. He walked on the field at Binghamton. I'm sitting with Andy and I said, holy mackerel. He doesn't. This is a superstar. A superstar. All I ask is that they bat him at the top of the order so that he could steal you 25 bases. Superstar. Ahmad Rosario. That's all I have to do. Jeff McNeil. I think he's overrated. I just can't believe that he was so unnoticed, and now we think he's so good after one season. But let's see. I'm giving Jeff McNeil a 285 batting average, 15 home runs. He batted around 330, I believe. First 2 months of the season in 2018, and he was supposed to be a utility role last year, and now he owns a full-time spot. Okay, we thought he was a slap hitter. Okay, but he showed that look, his barrel rate doubled. Barrel rate, whatever the hell that is. You hit the ball in the barrel, and it doubled. So 62 extra base hits, and you never saw that from this guy. So I'm still a little hesitant. You never saw that. Most home runs. One time he hit 14 home runs in Binghamton, and he only had 214 at bats. Not a big-time base stealer. I don't know. I'm not that crazy about McNeil. I think he's going to regress, but that's because he never showed anything like this before, and from time to time, we all have that magical season. And I just take this position, magical seasons do not repeat the following year, for sure. So I'm going to say it was a magical season and not doing it. Now let's see J.D. Davis, and then we'll get to some of the prospects for the New York Mets. J.D. Davis, boy, oh boy, I had him in Towers last year, 26 years old. They acquired him from the Astros. And injuries allowed him to see some time. And then he went on the bench when Todd Frazier came back. He'll hit you 280, 15 to 20 home runs. Still an underrated player. Look, he played the outfield at the end of July. And he hit 331. 331 his last 55 games. Really? And StatCast thought he would do well. So this was not a total surprise to everybody. But defensively, very poor in left field, very poor defensively at third base. And that could be his downfall. Sometimes players tend to play poorly defensively. They struggle so much. Yeah, career year, I agree, George. McNeil and Davis will be very hard-pressed. Nothing was expected. Where did it come from? I would be a little concerned as a Met fan about, not that they're going to be bad. I just don't see it. Cespedes in the outfield, what can I tell you? I have no idea. Nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. Is Cespedes going to be any good? Is he not going to be any good? Michael Conforto, I think, is a star. Absolutely. I took Michael Conforto in our draft. Very happy to get him. And my numbers for Conforto, and I think he'll even steal some bases. He can steal your bases. Just put him out there. Keep him out there, 26 years old. 270, 30 plus